Let's have a look at type 3. You've been given 4 words and 3 codes. The codes are not necessarily written in the same order as the words, and 1 code is missing. Once you have figured out which word belongs to each code, answer the questions that follow. So here we have 4 words and 3 codes. Now, each of these codes goes with one of these words, and it's our job to figure out which of these codes goes with which of these words. So let's start by looking for things in common between the codes. Now, first off, I can see that this first code and the last code both end in a 3. So what that means is we'd need to look for 2 words that both end in the same letter. So let's just scan our list of words to see what we can find. Okay, I can see here that acre and fate both end in an E. And they're the only 2 words that end in the same letter. So because of that, I can safely say that a 3 must be an E. So let's fill that in. Okay, now moving on, let's look for other things in common between these codes. Okay, right, yeah. I can see here that one of the codes has a 9 at the end, and one of the codes has a 9 in the 3rd position. So that when you were looking at how this goes with the words, you're looking for one word where the same letter appears at the end of one of the words and at the 3rd position in the other word. Right, so let's take carp. If we look at the last letter of carp, we could see if we think 9 could possibly be P. Okay, well, if P was 9, then it would mean that P would have to appear in the 3rd position of one of the other words, which, if we just scan the words quickly, we can see that that doesn't happen. Now, if we see maybe perhaps 9 as an E, well, we know that it isn't because we found out what E was in the last part of the question. Okay, let's look at soft. Now, if 9 was a T, it would mean that there had to be another word with a T in the 3rd position. And look at what we have here, fate with T in the 3rd position. So that means that a 9 is definitely a T. So filling those in, we're getting some more clues. So at this point, it's quite nice because we can see that we have one code with 2 letters filled in. And so we know we're looking for a word that ends in TE. So looking at our list of words, we can see that only one of them ends in TE. So we know that 5293 has to be fate. So let's fill that in. And now, what we can do, because we know now that a 2 is an A and a 5 is an F, we can fill in the missing gaps where we have those numbers in the other codes. So a 5 is an F and a 2 is an A. So now we need to look for these codes and how they go with each of these words. So we're looking for, in this instance here, a word which starts in A and ends in E. And there's only one, so this one must be acre. And the same for this one, we're looking for a word that ends in FT. And there's only one that ends in FT. So we know that this is acre and this is soft. There we go. To answer the next part of the question, all we do is use what we found out before to fill in the answer. So what is the word for the code 528964? So all we need to do is find out what these numbers are in letter form. So let's have a look at 5. 5 is an F, 2 is an A, 8 is a C, 9 is a T, 6 is an O, and 4 is an R. So we have factor. Now the next part of the question is similar, but it's asking you what is the code for the word roof. So it's given you the word and you have to work out the code. So to do this, we just simply have to work out R, and that R corresponds to the number 4. So we have 4. Then O corresponds to the number 6. So we have 4 and then 2 6s because the next letter is also an O. And then F is a 5. So we have 4 6 6 5. And that's how to answer type 3.